As we continue to talk to people in this hunt for the next mayor, we talk to Anna Falling. Anna is a name that maybe many of you have heard about, but it's been a while since you've been in public life. Anna, tell us a little bit about your professional background.
Well, right now, John, I have a ministry that we've been working on for 14 years, even whenever I was on the council. And in that process, we have formed about 5 new ministry agencies in Tulsa. Through that process, we started out with the faith-based initiative concept with President Bush and even Clinton before that, and had the opportunity to formulate some ministries that would help the community fill in some gaps with mobile medical clinics and car care, furniture provision, food and clothing, as well as working with men and women who are homeless and addictions.
And you could point out that you were a city councilor, what years?
Right, city councilor from 1998 to 2000.
All right, 2 years as city councilor.
That's right.
So what motivates you to get back in public life and particularly run for mayor?
Well, I believe that Tulsa is at a crossroads right now. We're looking at the some real financial issues that Tulsa has, possibly some financial collapse. We're looking and hearing at some real serious decisions that are going to have to be made. We still got about $10 million more in the budget to be able to cut out. But our decision to run, because it is an our decision, because my team, my family have to be in this with me as well. But our decision is to run, is to be able to bring what we've been doing for the last 14 years on a bigger scale to this city. We've been able to garner thousands of volunteers to be able to provide work and support for about 161,000 people in this city, saving us all taxpayer money in that situation from medical care and a number of different issues. So I'm looking to be able to take that to a broader level.
So if I can follow up on that, is this from a faith-based
That's right.
Premise you're talking about? So how do you mix that then with government?
Well, you can't separate it, for one thing, because my faith comes with me. I don't apologize for my faith. So anybody who is mayor has to say who they are and what they become, because you can't separate those things. And the same is true for you. Wherever you go, that's where you take your faith. So my faith background would come with me, and all the experience, because I believe that the 340 churches that we worked with in the last 14 years are prepared and willing to step up to help the city in ways that we can't imagine.
Okay, so you're writing a job description of the mayor's job. What would you write? What would you say about this position?
The mayor is a facilitator, and that's the most important job of a mayor. And for any government official, really. But the facilitator must bring the community together to create solutions. I've had to cut my budget in the last few years by 38%, but grow my services by 20%. And so in doing so, though, I've had to gather more people, recruit more people, do a lot more with less, on a shoestring, if you will. And that's what a mayor's job needs to be. Look around and say, what do we have in our hand, and how can we make this work?
So what skills do you think are most important to be mayor?
Well, I think the skills, again, are going to be facilitator, skills with regards to budget cutting, in this case, recruiting lots of people to help, and by being a cheerleader in a lot of ways, because our city employees, our police, our fire, they are fabulous, but we're going to have to work as a team together and say, what can we do differently? To
complement your management strengths and weaknesses, too, what skills or talent would you be looking for in your appointed positions?
I would love to have more administrative folks who are going to be able to track and connect the things that we need to do. We have a lot of needs in the community. We want to be able to identify those needs, so we're going to be looking at people who are identifying them, volunteer tracking, hours, a number of different things like that. So administration is going to be a big part.
Give us an example from your work background that would demonstrate your skills as they would apply to the office of mayor, maybe a management example or a project that you've overseen.
Well, we have had a number of projects that we've overseen, but one that comes to mind right now is the Katrina evacuation process. And two, really, we're looking at emergency preparedness issues. But when Katrina happened, we were able, and within 60 days, be able to take 1,200 people that just showed up on our doorstep in Tulsa and provide them with a partner church, a house, and food and clothing and the whole 9 yards for their household to be able to continue on and be able to assimilate into our community. Within 60 days, that happened. The same is true with the ice storm. We had the ability to jump into action, provide 1,500 meals right off the bat for families that needed to have response to their needs. And so those are some, we're able to jump quickly to whatever might have to happen.
What do you see ahead for the city of Tulsa, say, in the next 5 years, and how are you planning for that future?
Well, if I'm the mayor in the next 5 years, I can see some different things happening. We are going to see a huge influx of engagement from the community. But if I'm not mayor, well, that will be a different scenario. We will see some huge financial issues that we're going to have to deal with.
Well, as mayor.
Yes, as I am mayor, we are going to look at how we're going to cut the budget, continue to cut the budget, but not decrease services, because we can't afford to decrease any services from our police and fire especially. We can't afford to decrease any services to our streets. So we're going to have to come together as a team. So a big part of what I'll be looking for doing in the next 5 years is recruiting our community to surround our parks, to surround our jails, to surround our schools especially. We have 9,000 phone calls are being made a year to our Tulsa public police officers from our school system. So we have a lot of needs that need to be addressed right there.
What about in your first 3 months? You're the mayor. In the first 3 months, what would be your most immediate challenge that you would address?
Well, in the first 3 months, which is going to be in the first of the next year, January, February, March, we will be looking at the need to find about $10 million. We may look to outsource some of our city business that needs to be going outside. We've seen in other cities that by outsourcing some public services like our water, they've saved $14 million right there, right off the bat. We could see some significant savings. Also being able to see some ability to wrap our arms around our police. We have a big police initiative in the next 3 months as well.
You're sitting across from a CEO, and he happens to have a company in another city, and he's thinking about moving his company to Tulsa. He has 600 jobs, significant amount of people, and you're the CEO of this city. What are you going to say to that person to get him to move to Tulsa?
Well, first I would like to have another CEO within our own city who also has a similar company or a similar situation to him to be able to tell him what he's also embraced. Because I think it's important to recruit new business, but it's also important to recruit and celebrate our current businesses. We don't do that enough to be able to encourage them to be here. So we'd like to have them at the table with me to be able to say how much they've benefited from this as well. And so there's a number of opportunities for him.
You think it makes a difference whether a mayor is a Democrat or Republican?
It does. We govern very differently. Democrats want to fix it all with higher taxes. Republicans want to look at different ways, traditionally, look at different ways to be able to fund the city.
Is it important to have a good working relationship with the Chamber of Commerce?
It is good. You know, I think that they have some great benefit, particularly the companies. We've had some great questions from the Chamber recently, and so I've been able to respond to those.
Yeah, all right. Well, we are out of time. It went by in a hurry.
Yes.
But we encourage people to get out and hear the candidates
Yes.
as they'll be speaking in various forums throughout the city. Thank you, Anna, and good luck to you.
Thank you very much.
All right. We'll be back in a moment with our next candidate for mayor right here. Stay with us.